They said they're your soulmate. It's different with you. They've never felt that way about anyone before. They send you flowers and long love letters. They're a changed person all because of you. Don't worry, they did it to their previous relationships too. They have to overkill the get to know you stage in order to confuse you and reel you in. Narcissists study you and pretend to give you what you want and need. A while ago I made these two TikToks and they were really popular, so today's video is inspired by these two love bombing TikToks. And the question I get asked most often is, what books, what podcasts did you read to learn all of this? And the answer is, there are no books, there are no podcasts. The most credible source that I have, or my primary source, is my own lived experience. I experienced these firsthand, which then led my deep and genuine curiosity to go down several rabbit holes late at night. Yeah, I just lived through it. That's what my source is. So what is love bombing? I pulled up this definition off Wikipedia because it's better than anything I could say. Love bombing is an attempt to influence a person by demonstrations of attention and affection. It can be used in different ways and for either positive or negative purposes. Psychologists have identified love bombing as a possible part of a cycle of abuse and have warned against it. So, are you falling in love or are you getting love bombed? Now, love bombing unfortunately has been very popularized in romantic movies and rom-coms, and let me just say that first off, healthy, stable, non-toxic love is not the love that we hear about in movies and songs. The Notebook, toxic. Like all the great songs in the movies, it's like a lot about with codependency, narcissism, narcissistic abuse. And so I myself personally have come from an emotionally abusive relationship, and it's taken me 5 years to not only reconcile with that, but also even just identify that. And I'm not gonna spend too much time talking about that because it's really, I'm not here to disrespect anyone. It's no one's fault. I didn't deserve that, and I'm taking responsibility for how I can move on and heal. And so in doing that work, I wanna help you just get better, feel better, and identify a few red flags. So signs of love bombing. The relationship is moving super quickly. It's moving fast. And this person promotes constant communication. This person has given you grand romantic gestures of love and affection. So think, teddy bears, flowers, showing up at your doorstep, just going above and beyond. Communication has demands, so they require you to be somewhere, do something, and this person becomes kind of overly possessive very quickly. Claims about being each other's soulmate.
You're unlike anybody else. You're the most perfect person I've ever met. You're my soulmate.
The relationship seems to be almost too good to be true. If this person is claiming possession over you really quickly, like just after 2 dates, you're already their boyfriend or girlfriend or partner. And this hasn't even really been stated, except the person just kind of plants that on you. This person is needy or makes demands really quickly on. Like they're constantly texting you, constantly calling you, never giving you space in the beginning. This person either gives off the idea that you are rescuing them or they're saving you, or vice versa. Did I say that right? I don't know. Basically, if there's any fantasy bond about rescuing or saving early on, it's a really big red flag as well. If you notice that this person seems to blame many of their old relationships without taking responsibility. Now, a person's feelings can be totally valid in, that they were hurt or things didn't end so well. But if you find that this person is just constantly blaming their ex-partners or essentially victimizing themselves without taking any responsibility, this could be a sign of love bombing because it's a form of manipulation. Now, people's feelings are totally valid when leaving a relationship, but that's different from them constantly victimizing themselves in order for them to kind of manipulate and to elicit some type of compassion from you. Kind of like, I feel so sorry that you've been through so many things, and Also, love bombing can be shown in the ways that people overshare. If people get too personal too quickly, it becomes about their trauma, what they've been through over a short period of time really quickly. It kind of feels like emotional overload, because that is one way you can again elicit pity and compassion from the new partner. It also could be a sign of love bombing if that person refuses any blame for the failing of their old relationships, and you are not seeing where they are taking accountability or responsibility for the way they may have acted. So it's always about the other person and the other partner that things didn't work out. It was always their fault. I'm getting like flashbacks of like when this happened to me, because I definitely heard these stories, and especially if you're someone that's empathic, like this is a surefire way for you to just feel sorry or feel compassionate towards someone, even when it might be just like not fully, it's just not the full picture of what happened. If this person claims to love everything that you love, like, oh my gosh, like you have all the same interests, and also really makes that very known. Like, oh my gosh, you like that? I like that too. It would be genuine and authentic if someone really understood who you are and who you've been, and really understood more than just a surface level version of who you are, right? Because when you're just getting to know someone, you only know so much, aka so little about them. But this person is just over the moon about you, and it's because they are honestly projecting a false narrative about who you are and how you can be different from the rest. It's like this need to really love and almost become possessive over a person, because they just want to love you, but it comes from a sense of lack, a narcissistic way of being, because this person requires a lot. The reason why this is a red flag is because this person only knows so much about you in the early stages of a relationship. It is a sign of, I want you to like me, and these are the big grand romantic gestures I can do in order for you to fall in love with me quickly. I don't want to say, yeah, there's some malicious intent. It's right. It's to get you to fall in love with that person, not necessarily because you actually love them, but because that's what they want from you. It's a narcissistic way of going about things when someone love bombs you. They require a lot of attention and adoration. And so in the early stages of the relationship, in order to get that from you, they're going to do all of these things. Also, a big sign is that they've done this multiple times. If this person hasn't been single for a good part of their life, if they're a serial monogamist, it's like you are just one of the many people that they fantasize and idealize and honestly love bombed over the course of many, many years. I want to read you this. It says, they said they're your soulmate. It's different with you. They've never felt that way about anyone before. They suddenly want all the same things you do. They like or dislike all the same things. They send you flowers and long love letters. They post showy statuses on their Facebook page professing their love for you. That's a big one. Like if they claim your relationship status really quickly, or are posting so many selfies and just blasting you all over the internet really early on. They're different now. They're a changed person, all because of you. Don't worry, they did it to their previous relationships too. They have to overkill the get to know you stage in order to confuse you and reel you in. Narcissists study you and pretend to give you what you want and need. I don't know where this is from, but it's just like an infographic I found on Google Images when I typed in love bombing. I Google Images a lot of things so that I can share it with you. And then let's see. So this is an infographic from Millennial Therapist, who is someone I follow and I really love. So you should check them out. They make grand romantic gestures, give extravagant gifts. So when I was in a relationship, I knew that there was a big red flag, because after I had come back from New York Fashion Week, this person gave me so many gifts, and it was in the timeline? I don't know. The gifting process was like small to big gifts. So it was like close your eyes, and then it was like, oh, hot Cheetos, which I love. And then it became like a teddy bear. And then I was like, oh, that's so cute. And then I closed my eyes again, gave me roses. And then I think the final one, I closed my eyes and there was a tattoo dedicated to me on the back of that person's neck. And I'm so glad it was on the back of their neck because I was absolutely horrified. It was the person that I was in partnership with said, you know, this is my favorite lyric and it reminds me of you and I dedicate it to you. And I remember going to sleep that night saying, hey, you know, you got that tattoo for you, right? And he's like, yeah, but it's dedicated to you. And I was like, yeah, but that tattoo's for you, right? And I just needed to hear that for me to even just like fall asleep that night. But that was a big red sign of a big red flag of love bombing. And your gut really knows, your instinct, your intuition, all of that really knows. Like you'll feel it. That was, I think, our second month of dating, and I was like, okay, the hot Cheetos was cute. I feel like the hot Cheetos was the appropriate amount of time for dating. I think the teddy bear and the roses was like 2 months and that was it. And over the course of the next few months, I got way more gifts like books and jewelry. And I remember I wasn't that grateful or appreciative. And I remember thinking like, oh, like, am I just a bitch? Like, why don't I appreciate these things? But it was my gut instinct, my intuition telling me there's something wrong here. Like these aren't really authentic, genuine acts of love because honestly, this person doesn't know you that well enough to feel this way about you. They promote excessive communication. So wanting to like FaceTime all the time, call you, just like always texting you. It seems like they're always attached to their phone. They demand commitment. So another red flag for me was, I think 2 months into dating, I was like, oh, you know, are you gonna ask me to be your girlfriend? And then this person said, no, you are my girlfriend. Like our anniversary date is the day we met. And I remember feeling almost just kind of pushed into the relationship. And when they said that, I was so confused because I thought, you know, we had to, you know, date a little bit, get to know each other, and then, you know, make it official. And I also felt like that was a respectful, cordial way of doing things. But that person was like, no, like, that's how I do it. And like, that's how you are. And you're my girlfriend right away. And at that time, like, I obviously didn't want to stop dating this person. So I just said, okay. And I ran with it. But like keeping in mind, this was my first relationship ever, and I had no concept of whether or not things were healthy or normal or, you know, and I wasn't taught I wasn't taught, or I had never been given a healthy model of a relationship. And so when you grow up with dysfunctional relationships around you, you often are going to fall into a toxic or emotionally abusive relationship, especially if your relationship with your primary caregiver was one that was also emotionally abusive. So I'm speaking to you with all of this just really having processed, and I've just been reflecting a lot about what my life has been, and I feel so much better and happier. And I think the next part of my life, I'm going off a tangent, but I think the next part of my life is to really transmute and alchemize all of this pain and trauma and abuse into really helping other women and other people, especially people of those in the LGBTQI plus community, because 1 in 3 teens will experience an emotionally abusive or emotionally abusive relationship or domestic violence. My heart goes out to you. If any of this is just making sense, or kind of this is all kind of like, it's like connecting all the dots. I've been there before, and I see you and I hear you, and you're not alone. Okay, so they resist your boundaries. This is a big one. They're good at saying what you want to hear. Yeah, this is a big one because if they just seem to randomly adopt all of your hobbies and hate the same things you hate, it's just really love bombing, because chances are there's no way I mean, maybe authentically, yeah, there can be people who really genuinely love the things you love and dislike all the things you dislike. But just, again, listen to your intuition and listen to your gut. If you're like, oh, you hate that thing too? That's kind of weird. I just mentioned that, you know? Because it can be a sign of manipulation, that they just want to find some common ground with you in order for it to seem like you guys have so much in common and that this is just an amazing relationship. They feel too good to be true. So like I said, a big part of like knowing whether you're being love bombed or falling in genuine love, it really has to do with your gut instinct. And also time. Time is a big one. So they make you feel like you're being saved, which we talked about. They make immediate promises about the future. Oh yeah, so if this person is quick to want to marry you, so they say that they want to move in together, build a life, talking about kids and a family, just all these serious commitments in such a short amount of time, it's a huge sign of love bombing, because those are things that you talk about way later, and when those stages of the partnership come, like you can talk about them then, or when you're nearing that stage, to just talk about those like right after having just met someone, it's a big red flag, because like those aren't, it's like you should want to really get to know the person that you want to move in with, or have children with, or want to propose to. They put you on a pedestal. Oh yeah. Part of why love bombing works is because it does really like make you feel good. You're like, oh my gosh, am I this great? Especially if you're someone that struggles with just self-worth and self-esteem. Yeah, of course. Absolutely. I'm someone who definitely struggles with low self-esteem and low self-worth. And so love bombing, absolutely, it worked on me. And that's not a bad or negative thing to say. It's an honest and very valid thing to say. Like, no shame here, baby girl. I have no time for shame right now. Like, I am in a part of my life where I'm so proud of the resilient woman I've become. Lastly, we're going to end on how can I avoid love bombing then? Or how do I know it's really falling in love? Honestly, time. I've talked about this already, because when a person does those romantic gestures and one person, you know, thinks the world of you and all of those things, it's because they've really gotten to know the authentic, most vulnerable version of yourself. And I guess the only way that you can counteract love bombing in such a quick amount of time is maybe if you're seeing that person like every day and you're talking about things that are not just like surface level things, but it's really just letting those things happen organically. It's not like in the movies where getting swept up off of your feet is honestly just a form of love bombing, I feel, because it takes a lot of time to really get to know and love the people in your life. For example, like, yes, you could have clicked with your best friend right away. Absolutely. Compatibility is such a big thing. But thinking that you're gonna be it's like meeting your best friend and thinking, oh my gosh, we're gonna be soul sisters for the rest of life after meeting them just once. It's just not authentic and it's not organic. Like, think about all the people in your life that you've really grown to love. It's because it's happened over the course of many years, or because you've spent a significant amount of time getting to know that person and maybe their traumas, what they've been through, their life story. So the best way to really avoid love bombing is just seeing the timeline of things. Like, does this feel healthy, organic, authentic, genuine, which is a really big thing. I also wanted to show you the difference between a codependent versus healthy love. For example, and I just Googled this image, so there's tags on the bottom, so if you want to, I don't know, do more research, but it says codependent, intense attraction, feel anxiety. So the things we see in movies, like swept off your feet, like I found my soulmate, fell in love from day one, all those weird narratives that mainstream media and our culture really hyper normalizes. Healthy love, friendship begins, they feel comfortable. Codependent, idealize and ignore differences. So that's where love bombing can definitely come in. Healthy love, they get to know each other. Codependent love, fall in love, make commitments. So that's like making commitments really quickly, just like diving head first. And then healthy love, accept differences or leave. Codependent love, they get to know each other. So you notice how they fall in love quickly and then they get to know each other with a codependent love. Healthy love, they grow to love each other. So then when codependent love is becoming disappointed, healthy love is making commitments. Codependent love clings to romantic fantasy of love, the romantic fantasy of love which we've been brainwashed with. And then healthy love and acceptance deepens. And then codependent, try to change partner into ideal, which is often like when we start to really see this person for who they are, then we realize, oh my gosh, I need to change them, I need to fix them, they need to be better or different, because now you're finally getting to see who they are. Healthy love, learn from each other's differences. Codependent love, feel resentful and unloved. And I think that's the biggest way you know you're in a toxic or unhealthy relationship, is because you start to feel resentful after feeling these high and big emotions of love and passion. And do not mistake chaos for passion. Healthy, stable love is actually quite boring and feels really calming and soothing, in the sense that, you know, it's not this roller coaster of big and low, and high and low, big and small emotions. It's just really chill, like a lake, as opposed to a stormy ocean. Healthy love, feel supported and loved. Those are all of the red signs or red flags of being love bombed. And most importantly, just listen to your intuition, baby. Love is such a crazy vibration and energy or frequency to experience, so things can get so chaotic and confusing if we don't know all of this. I don't know, I'm just trying to help people out. Anyways, I hope this helped you out. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!